Hey everybody, it's GobletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing another premiere draft of Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Without further ado, let's get into our Pack 1, Pick 1. Pretty weak pack here overall. The rares and the uncommons are pretty unexciting. Uglook, Gift of Strands, Gorebag, they're all just fine filler, and Mithril Coat, kind of narrow, a little bit overcosted, just not quite going to be something super exciting. So we take a peek at our commons instead. We've got Easterling Vanguard in black, which replaces itself with an army when it dies, so it's a nice miniature 2-for-1 there. There's a Rohirrim Lancer. Anything that can consistently have the Ring Tempt You can turn into some decent value. This is a little less consistent since you need it to die, but still a decent card. And then there's my favorite card in the pack, which is Rally at the Hornburg. That is going to be the pick for me. I think Rally is great in pretty much every red deck in the format. Most red decks are aggressive, where getting a couple hasting creatures is going to be great. And the only red deck that sometimes isn't, which is red-blue, is still going to enjoy having some sorceries that can produce creatures. So you can have a higher instant and sorcery count while still upping the creature count in your deck. So pretty solid pack 1, pick 1, despite no good uncommons and rares there. See what we have in pack 1, pick 2, and there's a couple great cards here. We could go into black with Golem's Bite for a pretty nice cheap removal spell. It can also have the Ring Tempt us later if we exile it from the graveyard, so a nice little added bit of value there. But there's also the Bath Song, which is a really good card draw spell, going to draw you 4 cards, then discard 2 total. Then you get to shuffle a bunch of good stuff from your grave back into your library to draw some more consistently solid stuff. I'm going to go for the Bath Song here. I think it is the stronger card by a little bit. Just huge card draw. It's less replaceable because it's just like the best kind of draw spell in blue, period. And I think it fits really, really well into a potential blue-red strategy. So I'm going to take the Bath Song there and hope that we can speculate towards blue-red. For pack 1, pick 3, nothing incredible here. Soothing a Smeagol is a fine bounce spell that we could use in our blue-red deck. Improvised Club is fine in most red decks, especially ones with a lot of creatures, but this would be a little awkward if we go down the blue-red path since we won't have a ton of creatures. Not a ton outside of that. The Flamesmith can be okay in blue-red, but I think I'd rather just take a Soothing first. Yeah, not an incredible pack. I'm not really missing anything in any other colors by taking a Soothing a Smeagol, so we'll scoop it up. And that's a pick 4 Rally at the Hornburg. Pretty great sign for us. I mean, pick 4 is not that late. 2 uncommons and a rare were taken out of this, so this just means it was a pretty strong pack, because only 3 cards have been taken. All 3 of those were higher rarity than a common, so they were probably just solid uncommons and rares. Either way, we'll be happy to take another Rally. Pack 1, pick 5. Not a lot for sure. There's Eastmark Cavalier for a filler human for red-white humans. Arwen's Gift is a fine draw spell if we go blue-red. Haunt the Dead Marshes could be okay at coming back. I guess since we're already in the blue-red direction, we just take Arwen's Gift, since I don't think anything in this pack is stronger than that, but it's not a super powerful card to take here. Pick 6 now. Mortar Muster is the best card by a lot, just really good value. 2 mana for a 1/1 and draw a card if you don't have an army on board. If you do, it's a little bit weaker, just putting a counter on your army and drawing a card. But still, the fact that it replaces itself when you cast it every time with that card draw means it's always a solid play. And this is best of 1 draft. We are playing Premier Draft right now. I don't love main decking Cast Into the Fire too often in best of 1, so it's not really an option. I guess the Goblin is technically, but we've got a couple really good 2-drops, so we don't need, I think, the mediocre 2-drop red creature. For pick 7 now, we have my favorite 1-drop in blue, Deceive the Messenger. I think this card's just pretty incredible. There's a lot of positions where you can get a really good deal out of this, where you're going to be able to kill your opponent's 1/1, 2/1, or 3/1, and get a 1/1 of your own, which is a really nice, just clean 2-for-1 there. So I'm a very big fan of Deceive the Messenger. Pretty certain that I overdraft it, but even then, it was easily the pick there. Here's a little more contentious. I think I'm still going to go with Deceive just because we're so deep into blue, But Protector of Gondor getting 2 creatures off of the 1 spell for 4 mana, one of them being nice and beefy, a 3/3 and a 1/1. It just makes this a pretty good rate. There's also another Mortar Muster, which is great. So there are 2 other cards that are like really competing with Deceive here. And Deceive does kind of get a bit weaker in multiples, but still going to take that because that does seem like the direction this draft is headed. That's a pick 9 Easterling Vanguard. This pack was really weak in general. Honestly, my second favorite card behind Rally at the Hornburg, I think, was the Easterling Vanguard. So I don't remember exactly what was in this pack outside of this, but maybe black is just really open here. Yeah, Lash of the Balrog still. Maybe we're heading towards blue-black instead of red-blue. We definitely got some rallies, but outside of the rallies, we saw some improvised weaponries. Not a particularly large amount of red stuff, so I could see blue-black being the path we want to take here. Black Breath, I'm okay main decking like 1 copy of Black Breath if I have enough other cards that have the Ring Tempt Us. Because if I have enough other cards where the Ring tempts us, then even in the worst case scenario, maybe we have a level 2 Ring Baron, we can draw a card and then discard the Black Breath when it's not going to be good in the matchup, or we can just get a lot of value from the Ring tempting us when we cast that, so that is an option. Alright, kind of an awkward pack 2 pick 1 here, because I don't think there's anything great in blue to scoop up, since that's the only color that we're guaranteed to be playing. So that's a bit awkward, because now we have to choose between Eomer, which is the strongest card in the pack by a lot, or like Uruk-hai Berserker, just because black seemed more open than red in general. I'm going to go for the Eomer here, but I don't want to get married to that. I do still want to keep black in mind as a potential color to be here. But I guess if we just get a couple really strong red cards early in each pack, we can still be in the blue-red direction, like Ranger's Firebrand here. Blue-red is kind of a deck that really needs one of its payoffs to play super well, and we don't have any of the payoffs really for being in the archetype yet. No Gandalf Sanction, no Fiery Inscription. So maybe I am supposed to be on Corbane here. Birthday Escape's a card that's going to fit perfectly well into either deck, blue-black or blue-red, so this would be the safest pick. But Corbane and Firebrand are both stronger than that. Not loving this. I'm gonna take Ranger's Firebrand. I just don't love the idea of being red in this pod, but these 4 red cards are really, really strong. If we're just deep enough into blue, we don't need that many red cards. But there is the other issue that I was mentioning, which is that blue-red as an archetype isn't the greatest if we don't have any payoffs, and we don't have any of those payoffs yet, so it's awkward. Maybe I was supposed to just be on Corbane there. We don't get anything in black or red out of this pack, to be fair. Not really anything in blue either, but Stern Scolding is fine. We'll see how things pan out. Alright, we got the Gandalf Sanction. We lucked into it here. We found our payoff, our finisher, our win condition. The Gandalf Sanction. This is why you play a million instants and sorceries in your blue-red decks. There's also a Rally at the Hornburg here still, pick 4. So 2 beautiful cards. We're not going to get Rally to come back, but we might get a Soothing a Smeagol, which would be fine. And yep, I think things are going okay now. Easterling Vanguard would be okay if we were still going black. Rohirrim's okay if we're going red, but don't think it's going to be incredible. We've got 1, 2, 3 ways for the ring to tempt us right now. It's definitely the best card in the pack, and there's not really anything we're super missing out on. But this is not a deck that looks like a very strong, relentless Rohirrim deck. Again, the card gets better the more Ring Tempts you have in the deck. Ithlane Knots, super fine filler in these blue-red spells decks. Take that. Other notable cards are Errand Rider of Gondor and Woe's Pathfinder, but we're pretty off those colors. Best card in this pack is Rise of the Witch King, followed by Lash of the Balrog, and then everything else is pretty bad. So I guess we still take that Lash for speculation. We could main deck like one copy of Cast into the Fire, but I really don't love situational cards. I guess the Bath Song does help. Having any kind of cards that let us draw and discard give us a way to filter away our situational cards for stuff that might be better. Whole lot of nothing again. I'm actually just going to rare draft the highest rarity card for Vault Progress there. 96.6% here. I don't think I'm going to fill the vault after this draft, but we might. It's possible. How many Deceive the Messengers is too many, you ask? Probably 4. But I'll play as many as I can get, I don't care. I just like the card so much. Maybe even 3 is too much. I don't think 2 Deceive the Messenger is too many. But we've got 3 copies already, and we're heading into pack 4, so it's possible we'll get a 4th or a 5th Deceive the Messenger, and I'm gonna play them all. There we go, yeah, 4th Deceive the Messenger. I should probably take Troll of Khazad-dûm just in case we want to splash in some lashes or something. Yeah. I'll actually take the Troll. We'll stick to 3 Deceive the Messenger for now. Black feels like it's been kind of open in this draft pod where we're getting solid black commons, but we haven't seen any like black rares for sure, but also any good like black uncommons. So maybe it's just that black's card quality is so high that we're just seeing a lot of the solid commons. All right, what do we got here? I think we're splashing black. Pack 3, pick 1. Here's a Mouth of Sauron, which is kind of the perfect card to splash in a blue-red spells deck if you're splashing a little bit of black. When it enters the battlefield, somebody mills 3, and then you amass Orc's X, where X is the number of instants and sorceries in that player's graveyard. So if we choose to target ourselves with this, we get to amass a very large Orc Army alongside the Mouth. So 5 mana for a 3/4 and like a 6/6 or 7/7 on average in our deck. Mouth of Sauron is going to be a very good card to splash in. So we will be using our Inherited Envelope and our Troll of Khazad-dûm to get there. And we got a Fiery Inscription now. So whenever we cast an instant or sorcery with this on board, we're going to deal 2 to our opponent. Another solid win condition for a blue-red spells deck. Now we have a Glorious Gale for a nice cheap counterspell. I think that'll play better than Relentless Rohirrim in our deck. There are a lot of decks where I would prefer the Rohirrim, but not in this one. Another Rally at the Hornburg, competing with the Lorien Revealed. All right, black was open. Pick 4, Claim the Precious, and Dunlin Kerbane. Yeesh. Could have been a sweet blue-black deck as well. But we have an Inscription and a Sanction for blue-red, so really feels like we would have had a very good deck no matter what we did here. So I like Lorien Revealed a lot, I like Rally a lot, I like Saruman the White a lot. I think I just want one of the instants or sorceries here though. Especially with like Mouth of Sauron, we're going really deep. I'm going to go for Lorien Revealed. The thing that's really sweet about Lorien Revealed is that we could even potentially replace a land with this, since it can always island cycle. And that makes it a really good way to consistently get an instant or sorcery in our grave nice and early for Gandalf, Sanction, and Mouth of Sauron both. Could splash in the Mouth of Sauron off of the Great Hall of the Citadel, but at that point, Great Hall of the Citadel is basically just a swamp anyway, because we've only got the one off-color legend regardless. Take another Arwen's Gift. Take a Birthday Escape real easy. Super cheap way to just get an instant or sorcery in your grave. You draw another card so it immediately replaces itself. Fantastic card. Speaking of fantastic cards, rallies everywhere. I mean, Grixis was where to be. This is weird. This is like the most open I've seen like blue, red, and black be in general. Because I think they're kind of generally the strongest colors in the format. So usually blue, red, and black are the most contested colors. Especially red and black, but Blue and black here are really open. Red, we're getting a late rally at the Hornbergs, so I don't know. But yeah, black, we're getting pick 9 Torment of Golem versus Oath of the Grey Host, which is like nuts. I don't think I'm actually going to play either of these, but I also am like the biggest hater of Goblin Fire Leaper. Just really don't like dumping a bunch of mana into like fire breathing stuff. I do like Coral's End a lot in these decks. It's card draw and a nice little token, so a creature off of your instant or sorcery as well. Another Mordor Muster now. Pick 13, basically. I'm not going to splash that in, though. I'll take another Surrounded by Orcs, but I don't think I'm going for the full Surrounded by Orcs mill plan. If you want to see that happen, it's a very, very fun time. I don't recommend doing it super often, but if you can get like 5+ copies, it can be pretty fun. If you want to see that happen, you can go check out some of the early access drafts of this format that I did. I went on an absolute kick with the Surrounded by Orcs. I kind of got it all out of my system before the set even came out. I did multiple drafts with like 5 copies of Surrounded by Orcs. It was a good time. It was a good time. Alright, I don't think we have any extra fixing in our sideboard. We do not. So we've got a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Let's go Troll of Khazad-dûm, a Swamp, and an Envelope. That's 3 potential black sources. I should probably play double Swamp here, because, well, I guess it's not going to happen super often, but I want to be able to like discard a Swamp, like draw 2 cards, discard a Swamp, or discard a Swamp to draw 2 in certain positions without like completely locking me off of black mana. So that way I've got a second Swamp for the Troll if I end up discarding 1 to draw 2. But the really big concern that I had is what happens if I accidentally mill a Swamp? Then I'm just kind of screwed, right? Because if I mill a Swamp, the Troll's also not a Swamp. I just have the 1 inherited envelope. But I'm looking through our deck, and the only mill that we have, the only self-mill, is the Mouth of Sauron. So the only self-mill that we have in the whole deck isn't going to be cast till we already have the black source anyway, so it probably is still reasonable to just run 3, and I'll just have to make sure to be diligent and remember to just never discard a Swamp to a Quarrel's End or a Bath Song, unless I already have an envelope on board or something. And then, you know, if we're playing against a blue deck and they Surrounded by Orcs and they hit our Swamp or whatever, then, I mean, brutal, but that's going to be a rare occasion. This is 15 lands. I'm just going to up back to 17. So 3 more cards to cut. I think all of our 1-drops are just incredible. 2 mana. Weakest is Hithlane Knots, but I think that card is still great in this archetype, so I'm going to keep that. Out of the instants and sorceries, that's the weakest. Lembas, probably overall just the weakest card, though. It's a fine filler card that can end up in any deck, because it immediately replaces itself. It gives you a scry and then a card draw as well, so a little bit of card selection before you draw. And then you can just keep shuffling it back to your library, which is cute, it's fun, it's fine filler, it's never like a terrible inclusion to your deck, but it's kind of always the first cut. If you've got room, or if you've got enough cards to play other things that are a lot more conducive to your strategy, you should basically always do that. Cards that are more synergistic, more focused. This is just like, if you didn't manage to get enough playables in the end of the draft, you can throw a Limbus in there too. And it'll always do fine. Keep all the 3-drops here. I really like the Inscription, the Quarrel's End, and the Gandalf Sanction, and the Envelope is just necessary with the Mouth of Sauron and the Troll of Khazad-dûm. We do have 3 land cyclers. I don't think I want to cut them 1 for 1 for lands, but I could cut like 2 lands for the 3 land cyclers. Also have some potential cheap card draw. I guess just the 1 Birthday Escape. Rest of our card draws 3-4 mana, so that gets a little harder. I can definitely cut at least 1 land here. Don't know about the double cuts. You know, Rohirrim's one of the strongest cards in this deck, but I don't know how strong it is in this deck, if that makes any sense. Like, in a vacuum, Rohirrim's a great card, because you can play it in a creature-heavy deck with a lot of ring tempting, get that ring to level 2 and do some nasty stuff with it, but our creature count is super low, so that we get maximum value out of Mouth of Sauron and Gandalf Sanction, Fiery Inscription as well. We'll still have a good amount of tokens, though. 3 Deceive the Messenger, 3 Rally at the Hornburg, Quarrel's End. But how much Ring Tempts You do we have? How many Ring Bearers are we really going to have? We've got 1, 2. Not really going to count Gale because it's very inconsistent. 3, 4, 5. 5 is like right at that cutoff. It's like 7+ where I'm super happy, and I think I can consistently get a level 2 ring bearer to draw a card and discard a card throughout the game. I think 5's probably low enough that Rohirrim can just be the cut here. But we've got double Lorien Revealed, which when we're not island cycling them are a huge card draw, so maybe we drop an Arwen's Gift instead, because that would still leave us with Bath Song, Arwen's Gift, double Lorien Revealed for large card draw spells late game, with Quarrel's End for a smaller card draw spell in the middle. That's probably fine. Not actually sure which is better between the Rohirrim and the Arwen's Gift as the cut, but I'm fairly certain the cut is supposed to be one of those 2 cards. So I'll cut one of the Arwen's Gifts. Still leaves us with 4 large card draw spells. Draw 3, use a draw 4, a scry 2, draw 2. And this way we can probably turn like a 1/1 human soldier into a level 2 ring bearer on turn 4 pretty consistently. Again, Birthday Escape, Firebrand, Soothing, Inscription, Envelope, Rohirrim. Feels pretty solid. Yeah, this looks like a pretty cool deck, and I'll double check the mana first, but I think this is where we want to be. Yeah, we've got a lot more blue than red. We've got 5 more blue cards than red cards. We do have 2 island cyclers, which helps with the blue sources, but I'm still okay with 8 islands versus 7 mountains. Maybe since we don't have any mountain cyclers and we do have 2 island cyclers, it'd be better to go 8 mountains, 7 island, but I don't think I'm going to go that far with 5 more blue cards. I think I'll just keep it like this and call it a deck there. Alright, here we have a look at the completed deck list for today. It is going to be a blue-red spells deck with a splash for the Mouth of Sauron. We've got Inherited Envelope, a Swamp, a Troll of Khazad-dûm, and just a lot of card draw in general to help find those black sources so that we can cast a Mouth of Sauron with our very, very heavy instant and sorcery count to mill ourselves and get a gigantic Orc Army. We've also got the classic blue-red spell stuff of, again, playing a ton of instants and sorceries, and with that we'll be using Fiery Inscription to shoot our opponent for a ton of damage as we're casting stuff, and Gandalf Sanction to potentially end the game with enough instants and sorceries engraved later on. So a lot of the absolute classics here. Deceive the Messengers for our early creatures and removal spells. We've got Ranger's Firebrand for cheap removal. Rally at the Hornburgs to get our own creatures into this deck while upping our instant and sorcery count. Some bounce like Soothing a Smeagol. Some tap like Hithlane Knots. A counterspell or 2 with Glorious Gale and Stern Scolding. And a lot of solid card draw to dig through our deck and cast as many spells as we can throughout the game. We've got Arwen's Gift, 2 Lorien Revealed, Quarrel's End, and the big saga, the Bath Song here. That is going to dig 4 cards deep and then shuffle whatever we need back into our library. This is not an instant or sorcery, which is slightly awkward, but still incredible card draw. Very, very worth it. Outside of the instants and sorceries, we have very few creatures. We've got the Troll for fixing, the Mouth of Sauron as the bomb off of the splash, and Relentless Rohirrim. We've got a decent amount of ring tempting going on with our spells, so Rohirrim can help get that ring to level 2 on one of our little 1/1 human rally tokens or a 1/1 Orc Army or something, so we can start drawing a card and discarding a card every turn. And then Eomer of the Rittermark is just another bomb. You don't really need any other creatures. if you've got a gigantic 5/4 that keeps spitting out 1/1s every time it attacks. So really solid stuff overall. I'm very excited to see how this deck does as we head into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game 1. We've only got blue mana in the hand, but the troll can find the swamp. The one concern is that there's no red source, but there's also no red cards, so we don't need to find a mountain until we find a red card anyway. And we do have primarily blue spells in this deck, so I think the hand's reasonable. It's also got a bit of card draw between Birthday Escape and Hithlane Knots that can help find the red source once we hit a red card. We did find a rally at the Hornburg, so we are going to try to find that red source soon. For now, we'll just hold up our cheap interaction. Well, obviously can't counter that. I think I am going to use the knots to scry one and draw a card here, trying to find a red source. We do find it. Beautiful. Which means now I get to rally, which is great. And I can still hold up the Stern Scolding, or if they just go straight into combat, we can deceive the messenger instead. Our opponent is on red, black, and white, with Mortar Muster, Eagles of the North being the cards we've seen so far. The Eagles, of course, having been plane cycled. And they've got 7 cards in their hand still, and Swarming of Moria it is, which is awkward for us, because it's kind of like a creature spell, except that it can't be countered by Stern Scolding. And it buffs their creature that's currently on the board, so we take some extra damage there. And we don't get to kill anything with the Deceive the Messenger. I think I need to just hold back now and see if I can get a Deceive kill on the 3/3. So play pretty poorly if they have a combat trick here. But at worst it'll be a 2-for-1. They've traded into our rally and our Deceive with one spell of theirs. It's obviously bad, but it's not as bad as it looks, where it looks like it's going to be a 3-for-1 if they combat trick us here because they're killing 3 of our creatures with 1 card, but technically it's basically just a 2-for-1. They could do like the +1/+2 Death Touch and just kill one of our 1/1s. That'd be a really fair trade. Trade their Ambush for their Deceive the Messenger. Well, our Deceive the Messenger. But we keep our 1/1s, they keep their 3/3. We'll have to see what they're up to here. They've got 6 cards in hand still. Alright, they thought for a very long time, but it looks like we are just going to clear out the 3/3. Black Breath. Alright. Well, the board has been cleared on both sides. Find another mountain. Don't really want to cycle the Troll of Khazad-dûm, because I don't need the black source right now, and if I hit Mouth of Sauron, I can still cycle the troll and play Mouth of Sauron in the same turn. And it's not even worth like the deck thinning of getting a land out of the deck, because if I top deck the swamp, that's a good draw, so I don't need to thin the swamp out of my deck. If I top deck it, I can just cast the troll. It's been a very awkward matchup for cards that counter creatures, because that's their 3rd Amass card in a row. Oof, and now the Soothing of Smeagol. Yeah, this has been a really bad matchup for the Stern Scolding, and our deck in general, because now Soothing of Smeagol just doesn't target any of their armies, since they are tokens. The main deck Black Breath was also pretty good against us. Wow, that's just like as bad a matchup as we can get. They have a Fall of Karandros, which is incredible in a long game. And that's certainly what this game's gonna be. They've already got 7 mana. If they just play 1 land, they'll be able to deal 7 to a creature and amass a bunch and go from there. So I guess we're gonna have to try to find a Fiery Inscription win. Most likely. I don't even know if Eomer's good when they've got a fall on board. Again, they're only 1 land away from killing it and amassing 3. I think I have to just like dig into a Fiery Inscription. Or a Gandalf sanctioned super late game. Yeah, it's feeling pretty bad. Feels like we're probably just gonna die before we hit anything that can win through a Fall of Karandros. Yep, they've got the mana. So if I kept Eomer, they would have just killed it and amassed 3 and made their army a 6/6. I guess I could have like soothinged my own thing. Could have cast Eomer, attack, soothing it in response to the fall. Yeah, maybe that was where it's at. Would have been reasonable. Just finding more creature counterspells that are not gonna work. Three, 6 instant sorceries engrave. If I find a Mouth of Sauron, it's possible we can cast a Mouth of Sauron and make an army that's big enough to not die to the fall. But if I fully thought it over, I think maybe keeping Eomer because I have Soothing of Smeagol would have worked. I mean, it wouldn't have killed them, but I could have hit them for 5, and then they tap out to kill Eomer, and I bounce it with my Soothing in response. Which would be pretty good, because then they've spent all their mana to do nothing, and then I recast it. If they did it at the right time, it would still work out poorly for me, because they could choose to try to kill it when I declare the attack with it, instead of during their turn. But if they tapped out during their turn, then I could bounce it back, play it again, haste in again. So if they timed it correctly, all that Eomer would have done was hit them for 5 and give me a couple 1/1s, but a couple 1/1s still buys me some time. But yeah, I'd hit them for 5 once, then they try to shoot it, I bounce it. By the time I replay it, they just have the mana up to just shoot it. I guess they are still 1 land away from doing it without a treasure token. Oh god. Well, our counterspells are doing things now, so that's nice. Their treasure token's gone, so if they don't... Ooh, there we go. If they don't hit a land, Rohirrim actually lives as a level 4 ring bearer. If they do hit a land, I can Soothing my own Rohirrim in response to them tapping out. They don't hit a land. We might still be in action here. We found the inscription. This was one of our outs to victory that can win even if they have the 8 mana for the fall. We try to find the kill on this, because now even if they play a land, they tapped out of the Fall of Karandros. We get the kill on the army. This is really big. They're at 15. On board, they'll be taking 8 damage already, and I still have that Fiery Inscription to try to pop off with more instants and sorceries. We might be outracing the fall, and drawing something like a Rally at the Hornburg off of the top really helps with that. I don't even need to play it that safe here, because if they have their own Rally, I just go down to 5. The only other haste creature I can think of would be Eomer, which I can just bounce. They've got the 8 mana for the fall. I can Soothing my own Rohirrim so they don't get any creature on board and they go down to 1. And that should be game. All right, there we go. I think there was some thought to be had for, again, keeping that Aomer, because I could get 1 immediate attack out of it guaranteed, which leaves behind a 1/1 blocker, and then when they go to shoot the Aomer, I can bounce it back to hand with the Soothing, and that might have soaked up their treasure, but obviously the way that we played worked out super fine as well. I just think that I should have had that line at least in consideration. I just completely didn't even think of that as a possibility of something we could do. Because again, getting them to, as we see here, getting them to tap all their mana into trying to shoot one of our creatures and then just bounce it in response does work pretty well for us. So I think it would have actually been better to keep Aomer. Because had we kept Aomer, again, not only are we hitting for 5 once and getting a 1/1, but when they do tap out to kill Aomer and we bounce Aomer back to hand, we are making one of the 1/1s that Aomer made a Ring Bearer, and then that gets us started on the draw a card, discard a card every turn, which helps us dig into a win condition like Fiery Inscription or Gandalf Sanction a little quicker. So I think I probably should have kept the Aomer, but other than that, just incredible work from our deck. Still going to find us the victory there. Super spicy game. Very close one to start it off. We are 1-0 as we head into game 2. And here we are for game 2. We've got that turn 1 Deceive the Messenger, my favorite. And an Aomer at the top of the curve, which you certainly love to see. Well, we're hanging out. I don't even have anything I could cast right now if I wanted to. I will happily Glorious Gale a Nazgul, so they don't get any ring tempting. And they've got 4 mana now. Oath of the Grey Host. Alright, we're just going to both drop some absolute bangers in terms of sagas. I don't think I have anything that sacks artifacts. I'm just going to eat the food right now. Okay, yeah, let's both just drop a Great Saga, I think. I could drop Rohirrim if I want to get more aggressive, but I think our deck wants to just go for Bathsong Loots quickly. Drop the Deceive, so I still have land 5 to play an Aomer next turn. Mirkwood Bats. That is really good with Oath of the Grey Host. Hate to see that. They're going to be racing like nobody's business. Going to keep discarding Deceive the Messengers. I mean, I'm filling instants and sorceries into my grave, so that's something. They have 1 mana up. They could have an ambush, but then we kill the Mirkwood Bats. Alright, they'll just take it. Down to 15. They get their 3 flyers, which means the Mirkwood Bats shoots us for 3. Their whole board is flying. And they've got the Claim the Precious for the Aomer. Best removal spell in the format. Best common removal spell in the format. 3 mana, destroy anything, and the Ring Tempts You, just great value. Shuffle whatever I want back. I could just shuffle Aomer back and keep all the instants and sorceries in there since we have Mouth of Sauron in hand. Taking 5 damage a turn. It's going to be hard to outrace them, but we can try. Okay, I've got 2 extra mana thanks to the Bath Song. Would really like to find a black source for Mouth of Sauron. Do I just Arwen's Gift here? I still have 3 mana up, which is enough to play Rally. Hold up. I'll still have 3 mana up, so I'll have enough to play Rally and Scolding. And if I play another land, if I play this island, I'll have enough to rally, Scolding, and Deceive. I think I'd rather Arwen's Gift than Rohirrim, because Rohirrim would just be on ring number 1. Yeah, let's Arwen's Gift. Quarrel's End. Could Quarrel's End hold up Scolding and Deceive? Yeah, more card draw's good for sure. Lore Revealed is the other draw. Well, I was just saying the more card draw's good. Let's try to find like a Gandalf Sanction or something. Double Rally? Well... Okay, those are not super good. Okay, we're on a 3-turn clock. They also have 2 tokens to sacrifice, so they can do 17 damage in the next 3 turns. Which obviously they don't need to... Oh, God. Yeah, let's scold that. Because that would mean sacrificing the food, sacrificing the treasure would deal 2 damage to us apiece. Plus it's another flyer, so that would speed up the clock. They'd kill us in 2 turns instead of 3. Now it still takes 3 turns to kill us, even if they sack both of these. I just realized I have triple rally, not double rally. Fiery Inscription is a plan! That's gonna be hard to outrace, but Lord, can we try. Especially because I only get to cast 1 rally here. But I think it's better to play Inscription in 1 rally than it is to play 2 rallies before I have an Inscription. I mean, next turn I'm gonna have 6 1/1s and shoot them for another 4. They'll be at 8 and I'll have 6 1/1s, and I get to cast a Deceive the Messenger. There's no way I'm gonna have the mana for Lorien Revealed in double rally, is there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'd need like 9 mana. I should probably land cycle this. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely casting 2 rallies next turn, so that soaks up 4 of my mana next turn. That leaves me with 2 additional. I should land cycle this in case I draw something else castable to do alongside it. Alright, so we're going to Deceive a Mirkwood Bats here to stop enough damage to like definitely not die this turn, and then also have another 1/1 to go after them. And then just try to go for lethal. Uh-oh. Does that get me through Deceive? Yeah, Kerbane probably does. If they only had Rally, I think I still win. Because we go to 1. I would have been able to go to 1 without losing my creature here if they didn't also have Kerbane, because we wouldn't have lost the life when they made that Orc Army. And then obviously then they wouldn't have blockers up and we just kill them. But now, because they do have blockers up, we need to draw something good, and Birthday Escape is something good. We probably do kill them because we hit Birthday Escape. I think Birthday Escape's cheap enough to do it. Because now I cast 3 spells, shoots them for 6, puts them to, I don't know, something really low, puts them to 3, and then I have enough creatures. Yeah, Birthday Escape does it for us. Without Birthday Escape, they'd be at 5. Would 5 get through? Yeah, 5 would get through. Actually, we had it either way. Just multiple rallies alongside Fiery Inscription is just really stupid. That was another super close game of Magic there. We went down to 1 against the Mirkwood Bats. Actually popping off, I think the most I've seen there in a while. But the double Mirkwood Bats deck with the Oath of the Grey Host that makes like 5 tokens total between the 3 spirits, the treasure, and the food. And they also had another Mirkwood Bats, but we countered that one. The Rally to shoot us for 2 and have 2 more attackers that turn, plus Kerbane to shoot us for 1. 1 life and a dream, but Fiery Inscription Rally at the Hornburgs will certainly make that dream a possibility. We are now 2-0 as we head into Game 3. Here we are on the play now for Game 3. Super keepable hand here. I really like Lore Revealed, so I'm just going to Swamp Cycle the Troll of Khazad-dûm here. Immediately, even though I don't need the black source. It's going to be much easier to hit the lands to cast these Lore Revealeds than hit the land to cast the Troll. And casting Lore Revealeds will still be very powerful late in the game. Mortar Muster, I'm gonna go for a Deceive on that. Should cycle one of these, but I'm gonna keep the other one because we're gonna be at 4 out of 5 lands now. Okay, we find a mountain, I guess. Gale or Deceive here. Yeah. Actually, should have just played the island. I got a little too excited about the Quarrel's End, and it's going to pan out poorly for me because now I don't get to deceive and kill the army. The second that I saw the mountain, I was like, I'm just going to Quarrel's End here, but then it's like, no, I can hold up Gale plus Deceive, and then I can Quarrel's End and hold up Deceive if I don't do it that turn. So that would have definitely played out better to just play the island. I just got overexcited about Quarrel's End. Still played it out as well as I could after misplaying and playing the mountain. But as you can see, we should have just not done that. Not played that mountain. Now we can play Bath Song instead of Lore Revealed and still have Deceive up. And dig farther, since we'll dig 4 cards deep. I mean, I like the Ring tempting us off of this envelope, but at the same time, definitely don't need the mana fixing at this point. Sure, I'll drop the envelope. That's fine. If I deceive, I still lose my creature and they still keep theirs, so we don't deceive there. I could just for mana efficiency still deceive like the Battle-Scarred Goblin. Just take 2. Alright, I mean that wasn't horrible for me. I can Island Cycle with this Lore Revealed and still shuffle it back now. I'm gonna do that actually. Yeah, I think that was a decent turn. Got them to just spend a combat trick instead of running any creatures out. Might want to... Ooh, Aomer's the draw. This is not going to be a super valuable Soothing. Why do I have 2 blue mana tapped? What did I do? Oh, I think I Island Cycled off of a blue. I should have had another blue up. That I could Soothing plus Deceive. Man. I am not doing well with my mana tapping today. Also should have just played an island instead of this mountain. Oh, look, High Crusher. They do have an Orc Army, so that can block. Which means it's going to be a sad time for old Aomer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 instant sorceries engrave. Be a little greedy with Mouth of Sauron here and just keep everything else in there. Kind of want to. Need them to not have Claim the Precious, though. So what if I just Aomer first? Okay, that was Auto Tapper's fault there. There's no way it should have spent 2 blue on that. And I already had 2 blue floating. Alright, whatever. Should have been diligent. I should have made sure that I wasn't letting Auto Tapper do anything that time. But I assumed it wouldn't be really stupid and decide to use 4 blue mana when every spell in my hand is blue. And it did. So I guess we're going to lose our Ring Bearer here. Anyways, this has been a horrible game for mana. What I was going to say is that I'm going to start with Aomer. That way, if they have a Claim the Precious, any kind of removal that can kill any sized creature, they'll have to blow it on Aomer first. And then when I Mouth of Sauron into like a 10-10 or 12-12 or whatever, I can just kill them with that without worrying about them 1-for-1ing with Claim the Precious. Yeah. That was the plan. And now we have a Gandalf Sanction. Okay, we cannot lose this game. And Auto Tapper did well this time and held up a blue. Let's go. There's a lot of dumb things myself and the Auto Tapper have done this game, mana-wise. Mostly myself, but last turn was definitely Auto Tapper. Man, I kind of forget how sweet, like, Mouth of Sauron is when... Well, there goes Gandalf's Sanction. They're still pretty dead, though. Actually, they're still literally dead. They just chump blocked the 10-10 and die. Unless they have a mountain to play that Battle-Scarred Goblin. They do not. Cool. Dead on board. I completely lost my train of thought because they started casting a lot of spells. I was tapping mana like an idiot. Oh, I wanted to talk about how cool Mouth of Sauron is. I forgot how good Mouth of Sauron is in terms of just what Amass does, to where if you have a 1/1 army on the board and then you Mouth of Sauron, you're just immediately attacking with that army. It's like a hasting 10-10 instead of a summoning sick one if you had an army on board already. So that was super devastating. The fact that I could damage them for 10 immediately instead of having to wait a turn after I played the Mouth of Sauron to do so. So that's another nice thing to keep in mind there. A lot of stuff learned there for future games. That was a pretty sloppy one. But we'll certainly keep in mind to be a lot more cognizant of how we're spending our mana and what lands we're playing. Make sure we've got plenty of blue sources when we have a bunch of Deceive the Messengers, which is going to be a frequent occasion with the way that I drafted this deck. Well, see, there you go. Then we have a bunch of blue sources. We need a red source bad, but I'm a greedy man. But yeah, we really need to pay more attention to how we're using our mana. And also, very nice to keep in mind that if we have something like Deceive in hand with our Mouth of Sauron, try to get that cast before we cast Mouth of Sauron, so when we do cast the Mouth of Sauron, we get that kind of like a haste attack with the gigantic army. Just some nice little spicy stuff to remember for future games. We are 3-0 now as we move into game 4 with my very greedy keep. Hoping that Deceive the Messenger takes us all the way until we find a mountain. I mean, we need to find more action as well. If I just hit a mountain and some lands, then this hand doesn't really do anything proactively. We need to hit a mountain and then spells to play to trigger the inscription to fill the grave for the sanction. Lorien Revealed is a pretty great start. I am going to cycle the troll then. to get towards that 5 mana for Lorien Revealed. We're at 3 already. Troll puts us to 4 out of 5. Should be reasonable to hit Lorien Revealed on turn 5, no matter what happens. Okay. Pathfinder is definitely good for them. We're not going to have anything to deal with that for a while, because they're never attacking with it, so Deceive the Messenger isn't going to do anything. Uh-oh. Hit some red spells here. Rally at the Hornburg, being our next draw. They are green, blue, white. Probably one of these 4 or 5 color legend decks that uses Woe's Pathfinder and Great Hall of the Citadel to splash in whatever they want, and that certainly is the case with the turn 3 Denethor off of the Pathfinder. Island number 3. Lorien Revealed will probably find us the mountain that we need. We're certainly behind here. The 5 color deck has just naturally hit 4 colors of lands with Pathfinder on board, so they have access to all 5 colors at once. But they're not an aggro deck, so our hand is strong enough that we can potentially flip things around once we hit that red source off of Lorien Revealed into going like Fiery Inscription, Gandalf Sanction style plays. So we've got a shot here, and I do hit the red source right now. So I could just Inscription immediately, so I'm pinging them off of every spell this game, including Lorien Revealed. I think that's fine. And now I'll just use a pretty low value Deceive the Messenger, because against a 5 color Legends deck, it's really unlikely that I'm going to kill anything with Deceive. So I'll just soak up 2 damage and ping them for 2 here. Well, maybe I will kill something with Deceive. I mean, if I kill the Pathfinder, they still get a 1/1 back with Denethor. But a 1/1 with no abilities is definitely worse than a 1/1 mana dork that can also buff their board later. So I'll still try to get the kill on Pathfinder here. And we do get the kill. Aragorn the Uniter. Alright, that's going to be an issue. Yeah, I mean, 5 color deck naturally hits 4 colors of lands, and we don't have the counterspell for Aragorn. Might be death. I've still got Fiery Inscription. How bad is Aragorn really? It's a big scary mythic, but are we actually dead? If they have a lot of red spells, then yes. If they have a lot of green spells, I still have Rally and Deceive for chumps. Okay, unless they have a bunch of red spells, I probably can still try to stall it out with Fiery Inscription here. So for now, I think I have 1 turn where I don't need to rally. I should probably still rally, though, instead of Lorien Revealed. I would love to just Lorien Revealed and hold up Deceive. 16 life. I mean, I chump Aragorn, take like 3. If they cast a green spell, I'm going to take a big hit, but I shouldn't just die for doing this. And then next turn I can just play the rally and have a ton of trump blockers. Well, I guess I just die for doing this, because that's... Oh, why did it have to be Quick Beam? That's +8 power and trample this turn. I think my play was fine against literally anything except trample, and then they had trample. Well, this game's over. Because now... What, they're at 16 here? Oh, they have a 1/1 I can Gandalf Sanction if that means anything, but I don't think it does. Take 11. Got 1 blocker up. We can put them down to 14 by casting Deceive now. Rally puts them to 12. Rally puts them to 12. I have 3 attackers, so I hit for 2 more. They go down to 10. Gandalf's Sanction puts them down to 8, plus whatever Sanction does, which is nowhere near 8 damage. Yeah. On the bright side, Trample is so nasty that even if I rally and Deceived here, it wouldn't do a lot for me. Yeah, I think I just do this and hope they don't have another Tree Folk. So they don't have Trample next turn. If they have another Tree Folk, the game's completely over. If they don't have another Tree Folk, again, Inscription plus Sanction is a hell of a drug. Like, if they don't have another Tree Folk, on board I live another turn. Do I need to hold up Hithlane Knots here? I probably should, but I'm thinking, like, what would kill me? And most of what would kill me would be another Tree Folk that I think would kill me even if I held up the knots. I don't know. I'm gonna just hold up the knots here. It's hopefully enough to find a kill if I don't die. Bath Song's like definitely enough to find a kill if I don't die. Hithlane Knots is still probably enough, and it makes it much more likely that I don't die. I'm looking pretty dead. That's a red and a green spell? Yeah. I do die to just 2 spells. Oh yeah, and that, because it's red and green with air, oh my god. Their 1/1's a 5/5. And I get shot for 3. I could still hit something off of the Hithlane Knots. Do I have any red instants? Don't have any red instant speed spells, but I could hit Deceive the Messenger or Soothing a Smeagol. So we've got one last shot here. Deceive the Messenger, Soothing a Smeagol, let's go. That is none of those cards. Alright. Well, obviously got blasted there, but we were literally 1 turn from winning, so it was another incredibly close game. And if we had Deceive or Soothing on top, we would have found the win there. Deceive would be we take 0 damage, we get 2 chumps and keep a 1/1 blocking Denethor. And Soothing would also be we just take 0. And either of those would shoot them for 2 to put them to 8 and put another instant or sorcery engrave for Gandalf's Sanction, putting it up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 instants or sorceries. We use Sanction on a 1/1 and hit them for 5 off of that, plus 2 from Inscription, which puts them to dead. I guess it puts them to 1, actually. So maybe not enough. Maybe. Probably, though. Because we'd also have a 1/1 from Deceive sticking around, since one of them gets to block a 2/4, so if they don't play a follow-up creature, they're dead. I mean, we'll never know. They could have also just had another red spell in hand. But no, if they had another red spell, they would have cast it pre-combat. They wouldn't have put Aragorn at any risk. Because they did have a black man up. I could have had like the Death Touch trick or something. If they had another red spell, they would have just killed us with that instead of attacking. Alright. Yeah, really close. I think there were a few cards in our deck that could have had us surviving that turn and lethaling them next turn. 3-1 it is as we head into game number 5. Here we are for game 5 with a Snap Keep. Got both of our colors right off the bat. We've got Rally at the Hornburg to start getting proactive, and the Deceives on blocks. Alright, turn 2 rally, let's go. Got a Hithlane Knots or a Deceive in their hand. If they want to deceive one half of my rally at the Hornburg, they can be my guest. Alright. Elrond, turn 3 is the play. They get to scry 1. If they get 2 creatures onto the board in 1 turn, then they will get to do even more than that. They'll get to have the ring tempt them. Can't do anything to be big enough to kill this Elrond, so let's just Quarrel's End to deceive away. Ooh, a Ranger's Firebrand. Let's go. Talk about a great draw. That'll kill the Elrond. So now we're on Firebrand, hold up Deceive the next turn, probably, and then Eomer the turn after that. If I don't top deck land 5, I'll cycle the Lorien Revealed to guarantee a turn 5 Eomer. Because I'll still have an Arwen's Gift for card draw, at least. Even if I have to cycle the Lorien Revealed. I'd prefer not to have to. I'd like to just top deck a basic land here, that'd be beautiful. Our opponent's got the Jello sleeves over there. The jiggly, gelatinous cube sleeves or whatever. Those are very enjoyable sleeves. Okay, they're just going to hold all the mana in the world up. Well, show me what you got. Saruman's Trickery. Soothing a Smeagol was a pretty great draw, because now I get to hold up a Soothing and a Deceive. And then again, if I don't spend all 3 this mana, I am going to Island Cycle Lorien Revealed. During the end step, Soothing probably one of the best non-land draws we could have hit, even though I did want to hit a land. Alright, Elrond is dead. Send in the team and pass the turn. Alright. Opponent passes through their turn. The Island Cycle and attempt to cast Eomer, but I would not be surprised to see it countered here. Still do not have much of a better line. I could have went for like Arwen's Gift and just hit for 3. But there is the Gale. I've got 3 creature spells in my deck, so we don't really have a way to bait out a Glorious Gale. Could still play around it in that I get them to have like 2 mana soaked up every turn that's doing nothing, if they just keep holding up a Glorious Gale and I just never cast a creature spell. So just because I couldn't ever get rid of the Glorious Gale in their hand doesn't mean that I shouldn't play around it. There are still arguments to be made for going for the Arwen's Gift line there. And obviously it would have panned out better since they did have the Gale. Flame, gonna draw 2 cards off of it. Troll of Khazad-dûm. Well, I've got the mana to very easily Arwen's Gift. Just see what we find there. I should probably hold up a blue source to guarantee a Deceive rather than holding up a red source just in case. Find a Birthday Escape, that would be great. Okay. I can't Birthday Escape and have Deceive up. If they have an instant speed creature, it's going to be because it's their own Deceive, and then they won't be able to kill my... Well, they will. They could Deceive one of these 1/1s, and then block my Ring Bearer with their 1/1. I think I'm going to play it safe here and not make a level 2 Ring Bearer right now. Alright, and then we're going to tap it down anyway. I do have Mouth of Sauron in hand. I should probably just grab my Swamp. but I'm going to delay that. I don't foresee myself casting a Deceive. Actually, because I have Mouth of Sauron in hand, I should cast a Deceive on my own card. 6. Yeah, that'll be 7 instants in Sorceries Engraved, so if I Deceive my own creature and then cast Mouth of Sauron, I'll be attacking them with like an 8/8 next turn immediately. Because the army won't be summoning sick. Relentless Rohirrim. It's a level 2 ring-bearing Rohirrim. They have 2 mana up. Hopefully not another Glorious Gale. I do have all 3 of my creatures in hand. So, yeah, what I was saying is I should Deceive now so that my army has haste next turn, and then cycle the troll next turn and play the mouth. So if they don't have the counterspell here, this should just kind of get them. Ooh, they don't have the counterspell at least. They could kill my army before this resolves, but they don't do that either. They do have the way to tap it, though. And now they can look for a way to kill it. There are a few ways in blue. I don't think there's any ways in red. But in blue, there's 4 mana, put it back on top of my library, or 5 mana, return 2 creatures to hand. The 5 mana return 2 creatures to hand would be really bad for me here, because they get to kill my army and my ring bearer. Although, I've got the Birthday Escape to make something else a level 2 ring bearer, which is a lot more important. But still, kill my 9/9 and a 1/1 just permanently would be a very good deal. Fear Fire Foes, that's pretty good. Wipe out all my 1/1s. Drop a Pelargir Survivor for a chump blocker, but they are going to have to chump block every turn. Could Soothing one of their creatures and force the Rohirrim to chump block instead? I'm just going to see what I get off of the Bath Song. Land, okay. So, drop another blue source. I don't need the Soothing one here, so I won't. Could have Birthday Escaped here. To draw a card and discard a card. Again. But I'm going to hold up Soothing plus Deceive. I guess there's really very few cards that would make me need to Deceive the Messenger here, so I probably should have Birthday Escaped to see an extra card. But definitely should be holding up the Soothing Smeagol. They draw and discard a Rangers of Athelion because it just does not help them here. They're going to cast Gandalf the Grey. When they cast an instant or sorcery, they can tap or untap a permanent. If I bounce that Gandalf and they don't have like a Hithlane Knots or something, that'll be game. And that is game. We are now 4-1 as we head into game 6. And here we are on the play for game 6. That turn 2 rally at the Hornburg at the ready. Turn 4 Rohirrim will be great. Now we've got a Ranger's Firebrand, so we can guarantee that we have a level 2 Ring Bearer. I mean, Soothing a Smeagol would guarantee that as well. But I think we'll find a better target for Ranger's Firebrand than Soothing a Smeagol this early in the game. Maybe we'll find a target for both. Ooh, now I have a Lorien revealed once I get to 5 mana. I've already got enough mana to play everything except Lorien Revealed in my hand, so I don't see a need to Island Cycle it here. Alright, and they just really didn't like their draw or something came up. I guess we'll just move on with a free victory in round 6. We are 5-1 now, in the money out of this Premier Draft, as we head into game number 7 to see how far we can take it. And here we are for game 7. Am I ready to make the same mistake twice? The only game that we've lost so far was a game where I kept a hand that did not have blue and red mana. And I did it because I had Sanction and Inscription in the hand. This, I think, is even worse than the last one that I kept, because not only does it not have red mana, but the spells are 4 mana. I'm gonna mulligan this time. This also has issues. I could just ditch the Mouth of Sauron, though. And then it looks pretty normal, pretty reasonable. Yeah, I guess we just gotta ditch the Mouth of Sauron. Okay. Much more consistent hand here, but certainly lower power level than our opener. Well, Bath Song changes that pretty quickly. Now we've got to draw 4. And that can really help late in the game. It's the mirror match, blue-red versus blue-red. Our opponent has the fancy Lord of the Rings lands, though. Ooh, blue-red-white, full Jeskai with an Errand Rider turn 3. I can Firebrand that to keep the tokens coming in, which I probably will do. It's a Gandalf Sanction for later. Well, it's a great win condition. I am going to need to hit a land next turn. Maybe I should have just Hithlane Knots the Errand Rider and then shot it, so I could just guarantee my Scry 1 draw card. I could just tap my own creature here, but then if they have a burn spell, they can respond by burning my creature in response to this, and then they counter it and I don't Scry 1 draw a card. Be a really bad deal. Yeah, I'll just go to my turn and hope we just naturally hit the land. We don't, but Birthday Escape's a great draw. Gives us the draw card, discard a card this turn, and we hit Rally to play pre-combat? Okay. Just drawing like a champion there. Discard the Arwen's Gift, because I'm going to play the Bath Song. Keep the Knots, because they're getting low enough on life that tapping a creature down is actually going to be significant. Because 12 life is really low when we have a Gandalf Sanction in hand. Just Knots and Sanction here, and just go full speed ahead. Not Sanction, 1, 2, 3. 3 damage to them, 4 damage on board. I think I am gonna Knots, but don't think I'm gonna blow the Sanction this early. I'm gonna hope to draw something else off the drawn discard to play this turn. Well, didn't hit anything else to play this turn. Discard a Lorien Revealed and just juice up the Gandalf Sanction. It's fine. Sanction is getting very juicy. Bewitching Leechcraft on the Ring Bearer. Disappointing. Find another Lorien Revealed. I can Sanction Theoden, shoot them for 4 and hit them for 3 with my 1/1s. They go to 1 life against 3 1/1s on board. Unless they go like Swamp, Torment of Golem, and make me discard Gandalf Sanction, I think it's just safer to draw a bunch of cards this turn. Whichever way I want to do that. And I think I'd rather do it with my instant or sorcery. so that I fill the Gandalf Sanction up more. And I held up the blue source because I have 3 Deceive the Messengers in the deck, but only one red mana card. And Deceive lets me keep all my 1/1s and make the attack. So excellent draws there. And pretty great use of my mana. So that makes up for some of the really sloppy mana payments that I did earlier. Alright, I'm gonna just try to see if this kills them. And it does. Alright. We are now 6-1. Very close to the fated 7-win ultimate run, where you get all the money in the universe. You win the Mega Billions lottery and everything. No, just 2,200 gems and 6 packs are the potential prizes on the line, but hey, no matter what happens now, we're still very much up in value at 1,800 gems and 5 packs, so excellent prizes, excellent work from this deck. But we've got a couple more shots to see if we can make it to a 7-win run today. And here we are for our first attempt at the final boss with a great hand. The Mouth of Sauron could be an issue if we don't find the black source for it, but we have the rally to start attacking, we have the soothing to slow our opponent down, and if we can hit our land drops, Arwen's Gift into Éomer should be great. Hitting the first 2 land drops is going to be the determining factor here, because if we get the mana for Arwen's Gift, that will naturally find us the mana for Éomer very easily. Birthday Escape's an excellent first draw, because that can just cycle itself away to look for more mana for us, which is definitely what we're looking to do. Our opponent is on black and red. They played a swamp turn 1 and then mountain cycled their big elephant friend. Now a Morgul Knife Wound just to kill 1/2 of my Rally at the Hornburg. That feels like a pretty good deal for me. Alright, so Birthday Escape, see if we hit a land. We do not. Now we're going to have some issues, but I've got Hithlane Knots now to scry 1 and draw 1. Our opponent's on black, red, and green. There's a Grishnak to borrow our 1/1. Wait, it doesn't? Oh, because it's legendary. Grishnak only steals non-legends. Alright, so I missed 1 land drop, but now I have found the land. And I can use this land to find the next one by using Hithlane Knots. Could also use this land to find the next one by using Soothing of Smeagol and turning my Ring Bearer into a level 2 so that it can draw a card, discard a card. Radagast. Okay, that's really bad for me because anytime they play any creatures, they draw another card, basically. But I can at least force them to respend all their mana on Radagast rather than getting a new creature and drawing another card off the new creature. So, I mean, we're just going aggro here. We're going to let them have infinite cards by doing this, but whatever. Stay aggressive. Don't worry about their cards in hand, just kill them. And Fiery Inscription is a really good way to do that. Just disregard the insane amount of card draw they're going to have and just shoot their face and don't care. So discard the Mouth of Sauron, hit for 3, drop a Fiery Inscription, and they're at 15. We just want to cast like 5 spells, basically. If we just cast 5 spells and hit them for 5 damage, we're good. That's the plan. We've already got 3 instants and sorceries in the hand. As long as they don't have life gain in their deck, they can draw as many Radagast cards as they want. Should not be tremendously difficult to outrace them, especially considering we have a way to turn our Ring Bearer into a level 4 Ring Bearer in our hand. We've got that Firebrand right there. And then it'll be an unblockable way to deal 4 damage to them every turn. Yeah, let's do that. That's gonna be huge. Could shoot the face and speed things up even more. I mean, it's safer to just kill the 2/2, but I'm just gonna play with fire here. Like, I believe I can outrace them. Maybe should have ditched this for a land, but another spell is still a lot of damage, and I'm digging. Here's a land. Get rid of Bath Song because it doesn't damage them when we cast it. They go down to 4. Oh my god. This is insane. If they just don't have a way to deal with our Ring Bearer, they're already dead. If they can't play a 1-power creature or destroy our Ring Bearer, that can't kill the Ring Bearer. They don't find any creatures off the Radagast trigger there. For those who don't know, we're very late into the format, so I've been just kind of treating it like you probably know all the cards, but I shouldn't be doing that, especially with Mythic Rares. Radagast lets them draw a creature that doesn't share a creature type with one of them on the board. So they didn't hit a non-tree folk, non-wizard, non-orc in their top several cards. Okay, they're at 7. Can I kill them here? I mean, they can't block this at all, so I can deal good damage to them with that. I can't kill them, but I can put them to 1. So we certainly do that. Mountain's a great draw. Now I can cast Arwen's Gift instead of Deceive the Messenger. Deceive the Messenger is safer, though. I think I should just Deceive the Messenger, actually. Even though I could play Arwen's Gift. Because if I Deceive, I make it more likely that they don't kill me on the crackback here, and as long as I don't die out of nowhere, I can just cast a Deceive, cast an Arwen's Gift, and that's 4 damage right there. So it's safer to just Deceive so that I can stop some extra damage here, because Old Man Willow can sacrifice something and blow up my blocker. So they're currently dealing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on board. So some kind of combat trick, some kind of Amass could just kill me out of nowhere. And with Deceive the Messenger, I can help make sure that doesn't happen. To where they use Old Man Willow, they kill my army, I then replace it and reduce the damage they're dealing, so that I still have a chump blocker and they're doing less damage. Of course, if they're not planning on killing me in one swing, they can just sack and then kill my Ring Bearer, but then I kill them with spells, or just make the other card a Ring Bearer. So let's see what they do here. If they kill my blocker, I'm gonna make a new one with Deceive. If they don't kill my blocker, I'll just trump. Okay, they don't kill my blocker, so I will trump and take 3, and then I'll Deceive after that, so I've got a fresh new creature. In case they somehow survive with a food token or something weird. So I'll still have a potential chump blocker for the future. And of course, because I need to play this to put them to 0 next turn. They do get a food token. So that could do it for them. Because they're going to be at 4 now. So I guess now I just Rohirrim and hit them with this. If they don't have another piece of life gain, this will get there. Oh my god, they milled a Gandalf sanction off the top. That's so good for them, but hopefully Rohirrim's still enough. 4 damage, unblockable. And that is enough. A 7-win run for this blue-red spells deck, splashing in a Mouth of Sauron. This was a very fun deck and a very powerful one overall. Our only loss was a bit of a greedy keep that did not pan out perfectly for us against a 5-color deck that did hit some really nice mana to get an Aragorn out and all of that really explosive stuff. So really good stuff. Might have even been able to be a 7-win run if I didn't keep the kind of greedy hand that one game, but there is not a ton to dislike about this deck. I don't even think I have an underperformer. I think everything played out well. Even better than I thought it would. Maybe Troll of Khazad-dûm's the underperformer, because I don't think I ended up casting it a single time. But the idea is that it is probably better to play Troll Swamp Envelope than just double Swamp Envelope, just in case I have the Envelope on board and I draw into the Troll, then I can actually do something with it, or I have a Swamp on board, then I draw into the Troll. But since I never got to cast the Troll of Khazad-dûm as a creature, I guess we count that as the underperformer. But really, just everything showed up and did its job super well. Big fan of this deck. Really fun stuff. We got some big Aomer damage, as you always do. We got Mouth of Sauron to attack with an Orc Army the turn that we played Mouth of Sauron, thanks to our triple deceive to have a 1/1 army lying around when we play the Mouth. We had Rohirrim finding us lethal that game by getting us the level 4 ring. We also had Rohirrim helping out in earlier games. So Rohirrim did better than I thought it would. The Lorien Reveals were great card draw. Gift was fine card draw. Bath Song was great. Inscription was a massive win condition. And Sanction, of course, also a blowout. We got to play that less than we got to play the Inscription, but it was still good when we had it for sure. Quarrel's End was great, consistent mid-range card draw. We didn't get to... I don't think we got to cast Envelope once, if I remember right. I just don't think we drew it when we needed it. I think we drew it like one game when I already had all of my colors, so I just discarded it, which is whatever, but maybe that's the underperformer because we literally never cast it. The rallies were incredible. Soothing was really good here. The Knots was solid. Gale was solid. Literally everything showed up except for Inherited Envelope, and we never cast Troll of Khazad-dûm either. But everything else was cast throughout this draft, and it was some sweet stuff, some fun stuff, a great archetype that can do some really explosive things. I mean, the triple rally with the Fiery Inscription that one game was insane, where we outraced that Mirkwood Bats play where they had 5 power in the sky plus some tokens to sack. That was just nasty stuff there. All in all, an incredible draft run today. And we are going to end today's draft with 2,200 gems and 6 packs of Lord of the Rings. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel at the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link or the join button below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.